Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about Australian resident for tax purposes and non-resident for tax purposes. In recent years, ATO had about 33,000 tax audits, 340 private rulings, 1,000 objections and 54 litigations. A tax resident is someone who lives and earns income in Australia, and non-tax resident are those who are Australian citizen but living and working overseas permanently, or foreigners that earn income in Australia. It is important to identify yourself as Australian resident for tax purposes or non-resident for tax purposes. The consequence of this, when ATO audited and found out that in fact you're an Australian resident for tax purposes or non-resident for tax purposes, then you'll be penalized with shortfall penalty tax and plus any other interest.
Glenn Hardy went to Dubai to work as a pilot, and he lived there in a unit. But because of the nature of his job, he needed to keep moving his unit. In 2011, when he came back, ATO sent him a letter to say, look, you are not a non-tax resident. You are a tax resident, because he claimed he is a non-tax resident. As a non-tax resident, he doesn't need to pay tax of overseas income. Dubai is a zero tax country. ATO levy the shortfall tax. The shortfall tax penalty plus the interest unheard is astronomical figure of $1 million or so. Glenn got upset and he went to the federal court. He lost the case. He never gave up. He spent a lot of money went to high court. High court is expensive, $20,000 or $15,000 per day. Finally, last week, High Court said it's not important to live in one fixed house to prove permanent resident support, but as long as you stay in one country or one town on permanent basis, you meet the definition of permanent house board. The point of this case is to show that ATO is not to mess around with. It's to be taken seriously, and you should take extra care when you're doing your tax return. If you're unsure, do a prior ruling to reduce unnecessary penalty. You should come to see us and talk to us, the Professional CPA, on our number 0410 829 900.